April, which is today, as this date is traditionally observed as both the birth and death anniversary of William Shakespeare. Now, I would like to call upon Tanvi Khandelwal of Class 10 to present a welcome address.
A very warm morning to one and all present here. As we all have gathered here to celebrate English Language Day, I, Tanvi Khandelwal of Class 10, is standing before you to present welcome address. First of all, I would like to welcome our Honorable Principal Sir, Shri C.N.S. Raghavan, for joining us on this great day. I would also like to welcome all the teachers and the students. English Language Day is celebrated on 23rd April every year. This date is traditionally observed as both the birthday and the anniversary of death of the famous writer William Shakespeare. The aim is to celebrate multilingualism and cultural diversity by exploring the language. As well as being the English language most famous playwright, Shakespeare also had a huge impact on the modern day English. English is the most widely spoken language around the world, and the cultural contribution of this language around the world cannot be ignored. On this special day, we, the students, have prepared activities such as skit, speeches, song and dance. I hope that you all will surely enjoy this wonderful day and make this day successful. Once again, a very warm welcome to respected Principal Sir, teachers and all my dear friends. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanvi, for the welcome address. Now, let us all welcome Akansha Singh of Class 12 and her group for English Language Day song with a huge round of applause. Thank you, Akansha and her group. That was a melodious song. Now it's time to have a skit presentation. I would like to call upon the students of Class 6 for a skit presentation.
Hi, how are you? I'm fine. It's been a long time since we have met. Hello, it's my Kavya. Hello, it's my Kavya. It's a pleasant surprise. Do you know what is the importance of today? No, Niyati, tell us please. Today is celebrated as English Language Day. Why is it celebrated on April 23rd? Anything important happened on this day? I know. It is the birth and death anniversary of William Shakespeare. Yes, Shakespeare was born in 1664 from the baptism record. We come to During those days, baptism was done on the third day after birth. So historians assume that he was born on 23rd April 1564.
English has become a global language, isn't it?
Yes. English has become a global language because of two factors. First, expansion of British Empire in 18th and 19th century. Second, emergence of US as a major and economic power in 20th century.
Dominance of English can be linked to the fact that is the official language of many international organizations like UN and WHO. It is also the language of science. Around 80% of science journals published in English.
So, approximately how many people speak English?
It is difficult to estimate the number of people who speak English, as in various countries people speak with different proficiency levels.
But it is estimated that around 2 billion people speak in English, of which 400 million are native English speakers. So this means that there are more non-native English speakers than natives by a ratio of 4:1. Therefore, it is right to call the English language is a global language.
And rightly to celebrate it on the birth anniversary of the greatest English playwright the world has ever known. Yes, and he is none other than William Shakespeare.
Thank you, students. That was a wonderful skit. Although English is not the most spoken language in the world, it is the official language in 53 countries and is spoken as a first language by around 400 million people worldwide. But that's not all. It is also the most common second language in the world. Now, I would appreciate calling Srishti Kumari of class 10 for a speech on this International English Day.
Now present here. I am Srishti of class 10. I want to thank you for having me a chance here to express my thought in this special occasion. A special kind of beauty exists which is born in language, of language and for the language. Language is the special creation of the humanity. Every language has its own unique perk. But don't you know which is the most famous language across the globe? Not just famous, but the most important too. I think you know it. Yes, it's English. English is the language which is most globally spoken and the most important too. It is famous for social communication. As studies state that out of every 5 persons, 1 person can communicate in English. There are more than 150 accents in the whole world, and the accent which we spoke today is known as modern English. We all know it's very easy to communicate in our mother tongue, but that's not enough for the today's world. What if one person converses in English and other one in Hindi? Can we get the expression? In such case, we need a common medium. So, we had a conclusion that we should consider English as the world's official language, as it is the one most easy and spoken to. In India, you must have heard people saying that we stop at speaking English, and it is, we must be proud of it. But considering English as a second language, nothing harms us. In fact, it unlocks the barrier for our growth. If you desire to start your work in the field of science and technology, English language is the necessity. Even it assists in performing the research because data all over the world on internet are used to be in English. So, as a concluding thought, let us consider our opportunity for higher education. It is an established fact that English is access to science, especially in the field of engineering, medical and information technology. So, at last, finally let me ask you a question. Do you want a better job in future? Not just a better job, but the best career on ahead? If the answer is yes, to make your self-employment at the higher and the best space of the work by mastering in the English language. Thank you.
Thank you, Srishti. That was a spectacular speech. Now it's time to have another skit presentation, and hence I would like to call upon the students of class 9 for a skit.
Good morning to one and all present here. Today, on the occasion of International English Language Day, we the students of class 7, 8, 9 and 10 would like to present a skit. In the skit, there are two instances where the careless handling of the language led to death. A queen who was killed for a quote, the year 1789.
Try again.
Why are these peasants so unhappy?
They don't have bread to eat.
If they don't have bread to eat, let them eat it.
These words were, however, never said by the queen. She was hated by the French people because they believed otherwise. And this phrase partially became responsible for her death. The phrase represents the indifference of royalty towards poverty of the masses, and this is one of the main reasons which led to the French Revolution in the year 1789. The phrase, if they don't have bread, let them eat cake, is the English translation of the French phrase, still no through the pan, qu'il ne mange d'où la brioche. Brioche means a rich sweet bun, which conveys the same point, that is, the cake. In the second instance, we have a scene of a courtroom, and a case is in its finals.
To say that the defendant was not present at the time of the crime happened, and this is to be proven beyond doubt that my client did not commit any gruesome murder that the prosecution is trying to push the law.
Your Honor, I would like to close this argument by stating that this man standing in the courtroom might be innocent. However, he is one of the most intelligent criminals that our courtroom might have seen in the recent past. He should not be left scot-free just because his phone was showing a different tower location when the heinous crime happened. So I request the Honorable Court to award him the maximum punishment, that is, death by hanging.
After hearing both the parties, the court has come to the conclusion, and the verdict is hang him, not let him free. Lord, what have you all done? I had said in my verdict, hang him not, let him free.
The importance of punctuation can be understood by the fact that a comma misplaced hangs the man. We never give importance to punctuation or the language we use to communicate, and these two instances are good examples of language determining the destiny of the people involved. Thank you all.
And the purpose of this is to provide every child with a book of their own, which the charity does by supplying children with book tokens. The first World Book Day was celebrated on 2nd March 1995. So now I would appreciate calling Mehak Chabra of class 12 to present a speech on International Book Day.
One and all present here. Myself Mehak of class 12B, and today I stand in front of you to present my views on International Book Day. So, to begin with, what if we don't have any book? Would it be that simple to know about the world around us? Of course, the answer is no. Books have a very important role in everyone's life. They are man's best friend, and one cannot find a friend as loyal as a book. So, every year, to pay tribute to book and authors, on 23rd of April, International Book Day is celebrated. It was first celebrated by UNESCO in 1995 to promote reading and copyright. Thereafter, every year, this day is celebrated as International Book Day. Now question comes, why 23rd of April is celebrated as International Book Day? Why not 22nd of April, 24th of April or any other day? Because this day marks the death and 12th anniversary of several prominent authors, including William Shakespeare. Every year on this occasion, UNESCO, along with other international organizations, decide the World Book Capital for the year. Books constantly inspire us to become best of ourselves. They provide us lots of information, and most importantly, they build confidence. Therefore, the very essence of celebrating International Book Day is to create a culture of book reading among youth and children. Its purpose is to celebrate the joy of reading and encourage people to make reading a habit. Now, I would like to end my speech with these beautiful lines. A reader lives 1,000 lives before he dies, but one who doesn't read lives only one. Thank you and have a nice day.
Thank you, Mehak, for this amazing speech. All of us have seen various kinds of dances, but today the students of class 9 and 12 are going to present an English grammar dance. So let us all applaud loud and call upon the students of class 9 and 12 for a group dance. Wow, what a wonderful performance. We have just witnessed a dancing sensation. Now, I'd request our Honorable Principal to say a few words and motivate us all.
Good morning to all of you. So, today's program was an excellent program, and what was really a pleasant surprise was, with minimal disruption to academics, the students under the leadership of Dr. Rahul Killare and Sonia ma'am and others also who might have played a part, they have come up with a reasonably good performance, and all the items were good and quite praiseworthy. And talking of language, any language for that matter is just a means of communication, right? You strip it down to the bare bones. It is just a means of communication, but what happens is we attach an additional emotive element to it, right? Emotive element in the sense that we use the word mother tongue, right? In almost every language we use the term mother tongue or its equivalent. We say Matrubhasha. Perhaps it is only in Germany that they use the word Führer, who is the father of the country, and Deutschland, which is the fatherland, etc. Right? So the word mother carries a very strong emotive element to it. In fact, you can change your nationality, right? You can get Australian citizenship, you can gain American citizenship, you can become a naturalized citizen of a country. You can even change your caste in a sense, because you see, you just change the nomenclature slightly and then it can come under OBC or a different category. But mother tongue can never be changed, right? So that is why it carries such a very powerful emotive element. But anyway, let us just understand that every language has its beauty, and stripped down to its barest essentials, language is just a means of communication, right? So we should not be whipping up passions over it. Learn as many languages as you can, the more the merrier. In fact, you see in Chennai and in Pondicherry you have the French consulate and you have the German embassy. Same must be the case in many major cities like Delhi and Mumbai. Learn as many languages as you can. And then you see when you have this Hindi Hafta, I think in the month of August or September, English bashing becomes very common. Consciously or unconsciously we resort to English bashing. English becomes a soft target. Now the point is very simple. I can love my language, but I can love and respect my parents, but I have no right to abuse another person's parents, right? So therefore, let us always understand that every language has its inherent beauty. And this kind of English bashing is also misplaced. Because if you look at it from the linguistic point of view, whether it be English, Hindi, Urdu, Marathi, Ukrainian or Russian, they all come under this umbrella term Indo-European language, Indo-European family of languages. Right? Just a few examples which I have quoted on previous occasions. Take the basic words for instance, Mata, Pita, then in Latin and Greek, it will be like pater, matter, from pater, father, right? Matter, mother. So compare that Matru, Pitru, right? Bhrata, Bhratra in Sanskrit is very similar to brother. You also have in Vedic Sanskrit a word Swastra, which is very close to sister. In French it is sir, Swas, sir. And if you look at it from the etymological point of view or the linguistic point of view, nearly 49% of the global population speak one or the other Indo-European language. Right? Nearly 49%. So for simple mathematics, it's 1 in 2. 1 in 2 human beings on this planet speaks a language which comes under the Indo-European family of languages, right? So Indo-European family of languages, there was one language which can be termed a Proto-Indo-European language. Nobody knows what the structure of that language is, and there are various theories. They generally accept a tribe who are widely dispersed in what is called the steppes area of Europe, steppes area or the modern Ukraine, right? And from there they disperse to various parts of the world, right? So the Indo-European family of languages can again be subdivided into Indo-Iranian family of languages. Under this Indo-Iranian family of languages, you have Greek as well as Vedic Sanskrit, not the classical Sanskrit of Kalidasa, but Vedic Sanskrit. To be more specific, Rigvedic Sanskrit and the Old Persian, right? And then you have Zend-Avesta, which is the sacred scripture of the Parsis. Parsis who had to leave Persia. In fact, the word Parsi actually comes from Persia, right? So they have the Avestan language. Now, if you look at some shlokas in the sacred scripture of the Parsis, okay, their prophet is Zarathustra. Okay, and with the advent of Islam, they had to flee for their lives, or they had to convert to Islam. They chose to keep faith with their ancestral religion, and they had to flee to India, and they landed on the coast of India. Okay, and to be more specific, on the coastline of Gujarat, which is very close to Mumbai. You have that place. If you travel from Mumbai to Surat, you will actually come across that particular place on which they landed. Okay, there was a Hindu king there, and he said, okay, these people said, we will not be really embarrassing you. All we want is freedom to practice our own religion. We will not be indulging in any proselytizing exercise. And there is an eternal fire which is being maintained by the Parsis there. So they have been part of our country's cultural heritage over the last 1300 years. Okay, and they speak the Gujarati language. But they marry among themselves in the Parsis is dwindling. At last count it was something like 60,000. Most of them are centered in Gujarat and in Mumbai. Okay, so if you look at the Zend-Avesta, which is the sacred scripture of the Parsis, it is very close to Vedic Sanskrit. Right? So you have the Indo-Iranian family of languages. Under this you have Vedic Sanskrit and Old Persian. Then you also have the European family of languages, Indo-European family of languages, where you have Greek, Latin, and then all those languages which are derived from Greek and Latin, modern Greek. Then you also have the Turkish language. Then you have the Romance languages such as Italian. Then you have the French language. Then you have the Indo-Germanic family of subfamily of languages, which also comes under the Indo-European family of languages. Under the Indo-Germanic family of languages, you have German. You also have English. Then you have the Baltic languages. What are these Baltic languages? Serbian, Croatian, Serbo-Croatian. Then you also have Latvian. Then you have Lithuanian. Then you have the Polish language. All these come under the Indo-European family of languages. Then you also have the Western Slavic languages. Under the Western Slavic languages, you have Czech and the Slovakian languages. In the Eastern Slavic language, you have Ukrainian, Belarusian language, and the Russian language. So that is why I said 1 in 2 persons on this planet speaks a language which comes under the umbrella term Indo-European family of languages. Right? So then take the word Hazar, which is 1000 in Urdu and Persian. Right? Hazar is also related to Sahasra in Sanskrit. So there is a law by which there is a mutation of certain sounds. Right? So Sahasra and Hazara, language experts and linguists and polyglots can explain as to the transmutation of Hazara, Sahasra into Hazara. Then take the common word Dwara, which means door in Sanskrit, right? Darwaza and Dwara, they are the same. Look at all the basic words which indicate relationship, words for say mother, father, sister, brother, right? So these are terms which normally don't change very much. Other terms can change, but terms to indicate family relationships will not change even over a long span of time. And take words for numbers, right? Eka, then one, right? Dwa, then dai, by, right? Tr in Sanskrit, Trinity, right? Penta, Pancha, Octa, Ashta. So all these, even words like say ignite to spark a fire, to create a fire. It is also related to Agni, right? So it's a very interesting subject. So all languages are important. The more the merrier. Learn other languages, and that will give you the cutting edge. If you have the French embassy or the German embassy, learn German, learn other foreign languages like say Italian, French, etc. Right? Even the Bangladeshi language. See, again, language, as I said, is a very motive point, and that is why Bangladesh or East Pakistan separated from West Pakistan, because they said we are Muslims as well, but we are being underrepresented, and Bengali language has its own rich and glorious heritage, but then we are completely sidelined by the West Pakistanis, and West Pakistan is dominated by the Punjabi-speaking Muslims. So therefore, you have the language rights, and ultimately it reached a crescendo and ultimately climaxed with the creation of Bangladesh. So all languages are important, and as I said, we should respect all languages and try to appreciate the inherent beauty of every language. And the reason for the growth of the English language is simply this. English has acquired a lot of words from other languages as well, right? If you look at the vocabulary of the English language, nearly 30% of the vocabulary of the English language owes its origin to French, because England between the 11th and the 14th centuries was ruled by a French-speaking dynasty. The court language was French, so many words, many terms for cuisine, right? Cooking and other items, beef, pork, etc., they would all be derived from the French language. Nearly 30% of the words in the English language are of French origin. So if you were to speak a sentence of so-called pure English, exorcising French, you would not be able to utter even a single sentence. So that is why you see, if you borrow words from other languages, it doesn't lead to the pollution or the corruption of the language, rather it enriches the language. In Hindi also there is a movement to remove words of Persian origin and replace them with Sanskrit. But again, Persian and Sanskrit are also second cousins or third cousins. So this is something which you are not aware of, right? So in a sense, English is also related to Hindi, because English, Hindi and Urdu, they all come under the Indo-European family of languages. So therefore, it is very ironical to pit one language against the other and then say, you see, Hindi versus Urdu, you remove the Persian words, you remove the Turkish words. So Turkish is also an Indo-European language. Okay, so then Hindi and Urdu are related, they are second cousins, right? Hindi and English could perhaps be third cousins. Okay, if I were to use that term from extended family relationships. So learn languages, and as I said, so even in Tamil you have this tendency of removing words of Sanskrit origin and replacing them with words of pure Tamil extraction. So this is not correct. I'm not here to comment about whether it is correct or wrong, but it doesn't enrich the language, it actually impoverishes the language. Right? So similarly, you see, I've had certain people saying that when you have newscasters announcing news or reading news in the Hindi language, sometimes they don't understand certain terms because words of Persian origin are being replaced with words of pure Sanskrit origin, and sometimes they are not able to make out what is being communicated. So thanks again for all those who are directly or indirectly involved in this wonderful program, which was arranged at short notice with minimal disruption to academics. I just thought that just by tweaking one or two items presented here, we could actually have one or two items which could be part of the annual day program, even though the annual day is miles away, is a long way off. So you see, it just shows the kind of talent we have in terms of the faculty as well as the students here. Thanks a lot.
It is an honor to hear from you. Now, I would appreciate calling Ayushka Berwal of Class 10 to propose a vote of thanks.
Everyone, on behalf of all students and staff, I am glad to stand here to present a vote of thanks. A special thanks to our principal, Shri C.N.S. Raghavan sir, for always supporting and guiding us. Dr. Rahul Khilare sir and Srimati Sonia A.P. ma'am, the organizers of today's event, always put in a lot of effort and love into making each one of us good students and wonderful human beings. I sincere thanks to all the teachers for being generous with, and the participants of today's event who did a great job. I would also like to thank each and every one of you for being here. Thank you once again.